Good morning, YouTube. What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well wherever you are in the world. If you've just stumbled across my channel, my name is Kieran Scott and I do adult PE for a living. This morning, I've got a few jobs to go to. I need to go to certain places to pick some things up. Easter's coming around the corner. I haven't got Krista an Easter egg, so we need to do that. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Today's shopping list is protein bars and energy drinks. There's just something about going out food shopping when you're dieting that just makes it that little bit more enjoyable. Well, I personally find. Just look at all those protein bars. Back from the shops, gonna show you guys what I got. For the essentials, the White Monsters, chocolate orange Easter egg for Sunday, and I'm so happy because this one is actually going to be a chocolate orange egg. I had the idea of it just being a chocolate flake and just being a normal egg, but this one is orange, so I got one for me, one for Krista. Bread, because it was 20p, absolutely love a yellow label. Potatoes, 29p, absolute bargain. Grenade protein bars, a bit expensive, but obviously I'm enjoying these at the moment. And some eggs. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I've got. I need to pack that away now and make breakfast because it's now 11 o'clock and I've not eaten and I'm super hungry. Literally can't wait. I needed the protein bar. Let's go! Keeping it real simple at the moment. 3 eggs, 3 pieces of toast and some butter. I cannot wait to eat this breakfast.
One eternity later.
So I think I'm going to train at 1 o'clock. I haven't had enough food yet, so I think we're going to need to go get some snacks. For snacks today, we're going to go for 2 Rice Krispies bars and some watermelon, just because obviously I love watermelon at the moment. Today's pre-workout is going to be the Naughty Boy Menace. Never tried this before, but we're going to see how we get on. Let's have a little chat whilst I'm on the way to the gym. Training last week was really rubbish. Like 4 times a week is killing me. I'm not recovering enough. So I decided to sit down on Friday and completely scrap training and re-plan it all. Training is now going to be 3 times a week. We're going to do back and biceps. We are going to do legs on a Wednesday, and then we're going to do our push on a Friday. As well as that, cardio is going to be done at 5 times a week, Monday to Friday at 20 minutes at the moment. When it comes to training, you need to do something that you enjoy, and I just wasn't enjoying the upper lower rest split. It just wasn't for me. All my training is pretty much at the moment just going to be kind of high volume, high kind of strength training. Obviously specific body parts on specific days. It is not always the best thing for people. I mean, some people enjoy a little bit more conditioning, some people enjoy strength training. I've just kind of put it all together, and that's the style of training that I'm going to be doing. As I get deeper and deeper into dieting and calories start dropping, then I'll be taking exercises at the moment. But at the moment, the volume is quite high. There's like 6 or 7 exercises per muscle group, which was quite nice. Obviously arms isn't going to be massively high. I think I've got 2 or 3 exercises per each one, but it's just going to be nice because it's not the most optimal way of training. Like, I'm going to hit my legs once a week and I'm not going to hit them for another 7 days. And realistically, from a coaching point of view, you want to make sure the frequency is at least twice a week. So you want to make sure that you're hitting each muscle group twice. With that said, I'm not a professional athlete. I'm doing this out of enjoyment. I do this because I love it. So just training it once a week is priority. And in my personal opinion, you need to be recovered. There's no point training loads if you're not recovering it. And I'm certainly noticing that with my sleep. So that's a little update with training. I'm going to update you guys regularly on the vlog, just to obviously give you a little bit of more information of how I'm personally going. But as always, guys, if you do have any questions with your training and nutrition, don't forget to put them in the comment section below, and I'm happy to answer them. Right, I can tell I'm getting out of breath now because the pre-workout's kicking in. I'm waking up and the gym is literally over there. Today is Wednesday, which means one thing, it is legs. Unfortunately, I do believe the leg extension machine is broken, so we're not going to be doing them. It just means I'm going to be in and out a little bit quicker. But I always like to use the leg extension because for the last couple of years when I had my business, had my gym business, I was training with free weights and I haven't used a leg extension, and I feel that they're just a great alternative to use to obviously help you develop with your legs, and it's nice to isolate it. So unfortunately that's broken, but never mind. What is going on, team? Gonna hit you back with another voiceover. As always, you guys understand that I thoroughly enjoy doing a voiceover. I just find it an easy way of relaying information to you guys and also making sure that it's interesting, because on this channel I want to motivate, inspire and educate. Just before we get going, as always, if you guys could like, comment and subscribe to the channel, that would be amazing. Starting off with the seated hamstring curl. Normally I would do the extensions first, but unfortunately the machine's broke, like I said earlier in the video. So starting off with the hamstring curl. So what I like to do is to make sure that I go good muscle to mind connection. So going after this will be deadlifts, and something that I kind of struggle with is my hamstrings and deadlifts. So what I like to do is use the hamstring curl just to warm up, just to make sure the blood is in the body before doing the exercise. Now, I've spoke about this on the channel before. I'm not the best deadlifter. I'm not particularly good at it, just down to biomechanics on how my body is kind of built. And yeah, I can't really make any excuses. I'm just not good at it, but that's the idea, is to try and get better. So you can see here that I've got a red resistance band. What that ultimately is doing is pulling the bar away from me. So it's forcing me to really have to engage my lats and keep it close to the body. I am using wrist wraps here because my grip isn't particularly the best, and again, when it comes to deadlifting, I'm not bothered about grip strength. I'm just focused on the amount of weight that I can lift with good technique. So again, building up the weight up until my top numbers and taking my time and really trying to go through the exercise and make sure that I'm driving my feet through the floor, keeping my chest up and going up in one fluent motion. Again, something that I struggle with is I pre-engage my glutes and my glutes shoot up first, but again, we're working on it. Next exercise here is a goblet squat. Highly underrated exercise. It is great for frying the legs. If you want to do what I'm doing here, don't stand up all the way, keep maximum tension on the legs, and it's just a burner. Today I just didn't fancy doing 20 rep squats with the barbell, so I did it with the dumbbells, or single dumbbell instead. Moving on to some stiff leg deadlifts / RDLs. Well, really they're RDLs. Little tip, if you are someone that just struggles with hamstring connection, I would recommend put 2 plates underneath your feet and then drive through the floor. And what that would do is lengthen the muscle, so you don't have to go down as far to get a good connection with it. Moving on, here we have an exercise that has to be my favorite exercise to do, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit. I wanted to have a go at doing it on the Smith machine today, just because obviously it's more fixed range of motion and I can really kind of overload the glute. It wasn't too bad. Unfortunately, that bar is unforgiving if you are a male. It's not particularly nice, so I had to double strap it. And then moving on to the adductors and adductors. So when it comes to doing this, guys, I'm talking to you, do not shy away from training your glutes. They are very important. So if you want to get better at squats and deadlifts and lower body, I would highly recommend it. If you did want to do this, I'd probably do it at the beginning of this session, but as I've come into the gym, these are already taken, because you know how it is, girls absolutely love these machines, so it's hard to get on them at times. So yeah, just did as many as I could for 2 sets, just because obviously the weight stack on this machine is very light. And that was pretty much the workout, guys. Right, sit back, enjoy the rest of the video, and as always, if you have enjoyed it so far, don't forget to like. So I'm going to dive into it. What is the best method in order to track your progress, track your results? And most of you are going to be familiar with this, a weighing scale. Now, a weighing scale is a perfect way of obviously tracking your progress, because over a period of time, if your goal is weight loss, then what should happen is your weight should decrease. The issue is with weighing scales is they present a lot of variables. So what I mean by that is this. Say you weigh in one day and you're 200 pounds, and you weigh in the next day and you're 201 pounds. Now, for some people, you might freak out and go, oh, I've gained a pound. But in actual fact, there could be so many different situations and scenarios of why you've increased that pound. Let me talk about it. Scenario 1 could be that you are drinking more water than normal, so obviously you've put on a pound. Option number 2 is that you could have had more sodium that way, so that's going to help retain water. So remember, when it comes to a scale, if the weight does go up, you've not put on fat, there are just so many other scenarios like sodium retention, stress, sleep, inflammation. I can go on. That just leads me on to saying that scales aren't necessarily the best way of tracking progress. I'm going to show you a few different cool ways of tracking your progress, and it's actually going to make the whole process a little bit more enjoyable. One of the best ways of tracking your progress, whether that's weight loss or trying to put on muscle, is this, a tape measurement. A tape measure is brilliant because it actually shows you where you're putting weight on or where you're losing weight in certain areas. Unfortunately, scales to show you what you are as a person actually doesn't show you. I've had clients in the past that obviously are looking at trying to put on muscle. The scales aren't moving. We've done tape measurements and they're getting larger. So that's one of the things with scales, is it doesn't actually show you what's happening with the body. There's lots of different ways of doing tape measurements, but I'm going to show you guys really quickly on how you actually should be using a tape measurement. Most personal trainers and most coaches out there just go for the thickest part. So we're going to take my bicep. They will go for the largest part of the bicep. And the issue is this. When you are growing and when you are losing weight, that spot is going to change week on week. So it's never going to be in the exact place. So for argument's sake, I'm going to measure my arm, for example. So I want to measure my bicep. So I'm going to measure the top of my shoulder to the bottom of my elbow. And say that's 20 centimeters, for example. I'm going to find the halfway point and mark that at 10 and then go round. Because the thing is your muscles are going to go up and down, obviously restoring weight and water, and the same with fat, to be honest. But the middle point in your arm is never going to change. Once you get to a certain age, you're not going to grow anymore. So that's why we should always take the same point of reference. And that's the thing when it does come to obviously tracking progress, is you want to eliminate the variables. You want to make sure that you're doing it in the same conditions in the same place, because that way you're going to get a true reflection of what's happening. Never mind, right, let's move on to the tape measurement. So for example, this is how you're going to measure your arms, and it's exactly for the legs. So you find the most boniest part of the shoulder at the top, you put the top of the scale here, you run it all the way down to the bottom of the elbow here. It's really easy if you get someone to do it for you. For argument's sake, like I said earlier, it's 20 centimeters my arm. So then I'll mark 10 centimeters on my hand, on my arm here. And then from there, you'll just get the tape measurement. He says it's a lot easier with someone else doing it. You get the tape measurement, you've marked the 10 centimeters there, and you go from there. And the nice thing is you can do it at the same point all the time, and then you'll measure it there, whether you do it in centimeters or inches, up to you. Personally, I recommend centimeters. So you'll do it on that arm, your right, left arm, I don't know, 19 inches. Move over to the right arm. Now, don't take the same measurement that you did for this arm, because when it comes to your limbs, one leg and one arm might be longer than the other. I know it's weird, but that's how the body works. So say this one might be 21 centimeters, so then we need to find 10 and a half. Put your tape measurement there, go around and measure it. And it's the same when it comes to your leg. We're going to measure at the top of your hip crease there, where your femur is, all the way down to the bottom of your knee. Find the halfway point and then do the tape measurement. And then the other two tape measurements that I like to do, well, three really, are chest. So chest is really simple. Again, just get the tape measurement, just go around the nipple line, try and keep it as straight as you can, and then measure that point. Same with the belly button. So I like to do the belly button. So again, find the middle point here, wrap it round, pull it nice and tight, but not too tight. And then the last one I like to do is obviously glutes. So again, just trying to find the meatiest point on the glutes and go around there. So that is one of the best ways of obviously tracking your progress, because if the scales aren't moving up and down, tape measurements are certainly going to help. Number 3 of tracking your progress, and this is my preferred way of doing it, is taking progress photos. Photos are brilliant because it's going to show you what you currently look like, and you compare it from week to week, and you can see the visual changes that are happening. When it comes to taking the photos, you want to make sure that you're getting rid of as many variables as possible. So try and make sure that you're taking your photos at the same time of the day in the same room, just for consistency. That way you can compare it. Otherwise, if you take it outdoors to indoors, there's lights, you know, there's lots of different variables going on there, and we want to eliminate that. So when you do come to taking your progress photos, try and allocate one specific room at a time to do it. And one of the biggest questions I get asked is, how often should I track? It all kind of depends on the person, you see. If you are that type of person that can ignore what the scale weight says, then take it every day. And then what you can do then is just add up all your scores Monday to Sunday, and then divide that by 7, and then that will give you an average. And then what I like to do is take weekly averages to see where people are going, so you can generally see a trend. Now, when you take a weigh-in reading on one day and it's up, and then the next day it's down and up. You can't go much off that. That's why it's really important to collect your weighing data for a longer period of time. For a male, I'd recommend just doing it for a month, obviously, just collecting your data Monday to Sunday, and do that for a month. Then you should have enough data to see what's happening with the body. Now with females, it's slightly different. You want to collect even more information because obviously you have menstrual cycles, your weight is going to go up and down, up and down. So for ladies, I would always recommend collecting more data because obviously we need to know what's going on with the body, if that makes sense. Biggest thing is this, right? If you're a type of person that you can't handle taking photos every day or weighing yourself, then don't do it. What I strongly recommend, and this is what I get some of my clients to do, is maybe take their weight every month and progress photos every month. That way we can go in there. Now, it's not probably the best way of doing it, but that's the best way of doing it for that specific client, you know? If they don't want to weigh in every kind of couple of weeks because they're anxious or scared or whatever, or they simply don't have the time, that's all right, because then we can just do it through that period of time. It's not obviously the best way of doing it, specific and best for that person that you're serving. So in my personal opinion, the best way of obviously tracking your success is to do all three. Making sure you do consistent weigh-ins, okay? Making sure that obviously you're doing tape measurements, because sometimes the scale gets in your head, and it gets in my head too, and you're like, oh, it's not dropping, nothing's working. But eventually it does, it just gives up and it drops. So you can do weigh-in scales, you can do tape measurements and progress photos. If you combine all of those together, that is a great way to obviously see what's happening with the body. Like I said, personal recommendations. Men, you can do it every week. Women, I like to do every 2 weeks to every month, just to give them a little bit longer, because obviously your weight goes up and down, up and down. But hopefully, guys, you have enjoyed the video. Hopefully you've got a ton of information and knowledge out of that. And if you could do a couple of things just before you go. Number 1 is like the video. Number 2 is consider subscribing to the channel. That's a hard part. I can't even talk that one. That is a tongue twister trying to get that out. Consider subscribing. I have to close my eyes. Consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more fitness and more vlog style content. And you can remember that you can just unsubscribe at any time. It's completely free. But again, we're so close to hitting 100. That is the goal I've set for April. Fingers crossed we get there. Don't forget to share this video to anyone that you think is going to benefit from it, whether that's a friend or family member, whether they're looking at starting their weight loss journey or they're currently doing it, or you just think it will just help someone if you just send it to them. Anyway, guys, keep it real, and I'll catch you in the next one.